Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are to look at the amplitude in trigonometric graph. Let's refer to the multiplier that is attached to sin x, and the absolute value of this uppercase A is the amplitude we are looking for. In other words, it measures the distance from either the maxima or the minima to the x-axis. This distance is your amplitude. Either you are to start from the x-axis and move down to the minima. Let's refer to this white graph we have, and that is y is equal to sin x. If you are to refer to the amplitude in this graph is just 1. If the amplitude is 1, then the two marks on the y-axis should be 1 and -1 respectively. And now we are to change the amplitude and see how does amplitude changes the graph. The first, let's look at y is equal to 2 sin x, in which you have the amplitude as 2. We are to mark 2 and -2 on the y-axis. And with the amplitude that is greater than 1, you are to stretch the graph in the vertical direction. And you should get a graph like this. On the other hand, if you have the amplitude that is less than 1, your graph will be compressed. Therefore, the amplitude of y is equal to half sin x should be half. On the y-axis, you are to mark half and minus half. Now we are to look at two questions and graph them. In a similar way, we have the table, and the first row should be the x values. You are to start from 0 degrees with 90 degrees interval. You are required to use the calculator and find the corresponding y values. So let me do the first three for you. The first, you have y is equal to 3 sine 0 degrees. And I believe that should give you 0. We move on to 90 degrees. So in place of x, you're to put 90. So 3 sine 90 degrees should get you 3. So 3. In a similar way, you should get 3 sine 180 degrees as 0. In a similar manner, you should get -3 and 0. We are to graph the coordinates. Let's label the x-axis first. At the intersection, there's 0 degrees with 90 degrees interval. And now we are to mark the y-axis. We are to look at the multiplier attached to the trigonometric function. That is 3. So when we are looking for the amplitude, we are to take the absolute value of the multiplier. So absolute value of 3. And I believe that should give you 3. Therefore, you are to mark 3 and -3 on the axis. We are now to plot the coordinates we have. So 0 degrees, 0, 90 degrees, 3, 180 degrees, 0, 270 degrees, minus 3, and 360 degrees, 0. We are to join them, and you should get the graph y is equal to 3 sine x like this. Moving on, we are to look at the next question, in which you should see that there is a minus sign attached to the 4, and we are to use the same way to graph this trigonometric function. We are to take the x values starting from 0 degrees with 90 degrees interval, and we are to get the corresponding y values using the calculator. And let me do the first 3 for you. We are starting from 0 degrees. In place of x, you're just to put 0. I believe that should give you minus 4. So you put minus 4 to the corresponding y's. In a similar way, let's do 90 degrees. Minus 4 cos 90 degrees. And I believe that should give you 0. And 180 degrees, you should get 4. And I'm going to do the other two here, so 0 and minus 4. Let's first label the x-axis at the intersection that is 0 degrees with 90 degrees interval. And now we are to determine the mark on the y-axis. We are to determine the amplitude. Amplitude tells you to take the magnitude or the absolute value of this multiplier. So absolute value of minus 4 should ultimately get you 4. So in place of the y-axis, you are to mark 4 and minus 4. And now we are to plot the coordinates starting from 0 degrees minus 4 here, 90 degrees 0, 180 degrees 4, 270 degrees 0, 360 degrees minus 4. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe.